Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. So today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and today is an update day. We do have a few things we need to discuss here, but first let me just say, oh my gosh, they finally released new story quests, and they did something weird where apparently the cutscenes are out of order in comparison to the Japanese version. I won't go into that update just because I want you guys to experience for yourself. It's a really important update. I was able to beat it. That's pretty much why I'm only at 70 AP right now. Not because I'm like a super heavy raider, but because I spent 25 AP per quest just doing them. But let's go ahead and talk about our new falling price deal. So this is going to follow the same pattern as the previous price deals, where you're going to start off with 3,000 jewels on the first pull, 2,500 on the next, 2,200 on the next, 2,000 on the fourth, and then the fifth pull onwards is going to be only 1,900 jewels. Now I'm going to stand by what I said about the previous ones, where falling price banners in general are only worth pulling if you could pull 5 or more. Because mathematically, if you buy 5, you're essentially getting 1 pull for free if you compared it to a 3,000 regular pull, like an EX pull or something like that. So it's only worth pulling if you could pull 5 times or more. I would argue that it is worth pulling up until about the 3rd or the 4th pull, because that is still a significant drop. It's 500 from the 1st to the 2nd, and then 300 from the 2nd to the 3rd. So that's already 800 jewels saved just between the first 3 draws. But with that being said, those draws are still pretty expensive. So again, if you're a free-to-play player, I would not recommend doing the falling price deal, mainly because there are 0 guarantees in it. There's no after 5 you get this kind of deal like there was with the Sora EX banner, where you for sure got HD Wisdom Form Sora. So again, this deal is mainly for people who can pay into the game, because there's you get a lot of you get a lot of medals for less jewels, which is always good if you spend money into the game. The weirdest part about this falling price deal is that it ups the ante, because if you read this middle part here, in addition, each pull from this deal guarantees at least 1 tier 5 medal pre-strengthened to 1, 2, or 3 special attack dots. Now that's really good, and the reason that's really good is because most tier 5 medals are not strictly damage pushing medals. A lot of them are buffers, debuffers. They have a lot of utility to them outside of guilting and doing damage. Like, for example, let's take Key Art 8. That one is just like our Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora EX medal, where it gives, except the magic version, where it's going to give you plus 2 tiers of magic strength and the enemy minus 2 tiers of magic defense, and that's going to apply to all enemies. So you don't need that gilted to get like some of the usefulness out of it, just because the debuffer is already really good. If you have a bunch of tier 3s from just back in the day, they are still useful, and they can still be buffed and slash debuffed with the tier 5s that come out. So this is actually pretty good, a guaranteed tier 5, but it makes you really wonder, where is the game state heading if they're guaranteeing tier 5s right now? It makes you really think maybe they want us to spend more jewels. This is a falling price banner. They introduced 2 medals, so it makes you really wonder, what are they trying to make us spend all our jewels for? And I'm going to stand by my previous video where I said Sephiroth EX is coming. The Tsum Tsum medals are coming, and those medals are fantastic. They'll probably even have a guaranteed tier 5 with every pull in the Sephiroth EX medal, just because this entire month, for the past 30 days, they've been experimenting with new banners, where they pretty much try a guarantee in the EX pulls. They tried another falling price banner. This one's going to be with a tier 5. They tried another falling price banner where they guaranteed from a set list of tier 5s. So there's a lot going on with new banners, and it makes you really wonder, what are they testing? Are they trying to see where we're spending our jewels? So they're trying to figure out maybe what's the best way to have us spend money, so that way we'll expend all our jewels by the time Sephiroth EX and the Tsum Tsum medals come out, because those medals are pretty game-changing in my opinion. Sephiroth, if you looked into the future with the Japanese Keyblades, they have fairy stars, and I was explained by a fellow member in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in how useful Sephiroth EX is in the Fairy Stars Keyblade when you have HD Naminé and Key Art Bonds, as well as 0.2 Kairi and Riku EX, which isn't out yet in US or the global version. But pretty much save your jewels, in my opinion, for Sephiroth EX and the Tsum Tsum medals, because it's very likely that the Tsum Tsum medals will have some sort of guarantee based on how these banners are working. I do want to believe they are a limited time only, so they'll probably do a 1 per pull, just like they did with the World of Final Fantasy upon initial release. So hopefully that's the case. Regardless, I'd still save. These 2 medals, though, are really, really good. If you can somehow find a way to pull into them, short of having perfect RNG, it is a good deal here. So it is going to be the Ventus and Vanitas medal and the Lord of the Dead medal. And just like the other banners, because this is their banner, you can get those boosted. So let's take a look at our 2 new shiny medals here. So the first one is going to be the Vanitas and Ventus medal, which was temporarily broken in the Japanese version. There was a glitch where it pretty much activated itself continuously. People used it for Lux boosting. So if I get it, just out of sheer luck somehow, I'm gonna see if that's actually still relevant. So these are the 2 medals. The second one is that Lord of the Dead medal. Let's take a look. So the Ventus-Vanitas medal is a speed reverse medal that deals 6 hits, lowers target speed defense by 4 tiers for 1 turn, and inflicts more damage when set in slot 5. This medal is pretty much set up, if you're not using it for the utility, it's pretty much set up just for the Divine Rose Keyblade, because it's going to go in that 5th slot. It's going to do pretty much its maximum amount of damage. Otherwise, you'd have to set it earlier in your Keyblade, have it do less damage, but regardless, 4 tiers of speed defense down is still a lot, especially when you're starting to deal with high-level enemies, and it's more important to lower their defense than it is to buff your own. So this medal is really, really good for high-leveled enemies. It's good for people with a very, very good Divine Rose setup. If they have the HD Naminé right before it, that's going to pretty much put them at the maximum amount of speed debuff, which is really, really good. I would definitely recommend this medal on that 5th slot of Divine Rose. I can't really say anything else until I know for sure more about its multiplier and how much damage it does. Now, the Lord of the Dead medal is, if you read the effect, so it deals 9 hits, it lowers target's power defense by 4 tiers for 1 turn, and inflicts more damage when set in slot 4. It is a power reversed medal, meaning that this medal was designed to be put in the Fenrir Keyblade, in my opinion. Just because it lowers the power-based defense by 4 tiers, it is right before your heaviest hitting slot in Fenrir, which is the last one. At level 35, that's 2.9. At level 36, it's 3. But the point is, this medal is set to go in that slot to lower the defense. So this is I want to say this is actually sort of better than the Ventus-Vanitas medal, because it also gives you the maximum amount on the 4th slot while still giving you a lot of power in that 5th slot, with the first 3 slots being more or less buffers that you're using for your later 2. So this is a really good candidate for the Fenrir medal, whereas Ventus-Vanitas is a good candidate for the Divine Rose medal. Divine Rose, Keyblade, Fenrir, Keyblade. Sorry about that, guys. So let's take a look and see if any other Keyblades can be used for that particular setup. So Counterpoint is out. Obviously, Sleeping Lion, that is out. Stroke of Midnight. The 4th slot is Upright Blue. The last slot is Reverse Red. Obviously, we just talked about Fenrir, so that one's a good slot for that Lord of the Dead. Darkgnaw, I forgot we got our first reverse Keyblade. This is another good slot for that Lord of the Dead medal, just because with Sephiroth EX coming around, it's going to be a really, really good medal on that last slot. Pretty much any reversed red medal, which are for the most part all powerful hitting medals. So Psyx B, Lexius B, Xemnas B. What are other big reversed red guys? Vanitas is also good there. But the point is, reverse red metals are meant to do damage, and with that 4th slot being Lord of the Dead, it would be good for your 5th slot there. Now, I plan on doing with this Keyblade what I did with the Sleeping Lion and the Counterpoint, just pretty much going from 0 to level 35 just to see if I could do it, just to see if I could pass the quest with this level 0 Keyblade. But moving along, so Starlight can't be used with either of them. Treasure Trove can't be used with either of them. Lady Luck is a good candidate for that Ventus-Vanitas medal, just because it does have that reversed green slot on the 5th one. So if you don't have a good Divine Rose, just know that Lady Luck is a substitute Keyblade for that 5th slot until you get that Divine Rose. Obviously, 3 Wishes is a Magic Blade. Olympia, see, the thing about Olympia is when you move that upright, it's only just a ×2 multiplier, which isn't really good for that Lord of the Dead medal, especially with the next slot after that being green, so it wouldn't get any of the benefit. Pretty much only the shared medal would get any of the benefit from that. Divine Rose, we already talked about that. Moogle of Glory, the 4th slot is reverse blue, and we're back here. So pretty much these medals are very, very limited in their usefulness. If you're a new player, they would definitely help you. If you're free to play and you somehow get them, they'll definitely help you. But for the most part, I think it is a banner that you can skip. Again, I think with the Sephiroth EX one, they are going to have a guaranteed tier 5 if they're feeling pretty merciful, or if enough people pull into this banner. And with Tsum Tsums again, they might have that be 1 guaranteed per pull. So I would honestly wait for those. Those are pretty game changing. These two are more or less skippable if you have other medals that can do the job for you. So for example, we just got Axel B. If you got extra attack on that, that's +6 tiers of power strength. Everyone just got the Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora EX medal, which is pretty much the Ventus-Vanitas, except if you moved it from being 4 defense down, you get 2 defense down and 2 strength up for the EX Sora. So like I said, guys, I think these are skippable. I definitely don't think you need to pull into them unless you plan on pulling 5 times, because those tier 5 medals are pretty awesome. But with that being said, that is my thoughts on the new banner. If you guys have any questions or concerns or comments, feel free to leave them below. I will try to get to them the best that I can. But until next time, everyone, take it easy.